Hi guys, my name is Amrish. You're watching Gourmet at Home. Today I will be cooking another classical recipe with a small twist which is inspired from northern part of India. And this could be a great addition to your weekend menus, special occasion or festive menus. The recipe that I will be cooking today is Paneer Lababdar. The gravy of Paneer Lababdar is quite similar to Paneer Tikka Masala or Paneer Makhani. But in terms of taste profile of the dish or the curry, it has got more stronger and robust flavors. According to some people, this is more like a Mughlai style gravy. But I feel this has an influence of Punjabi cooking also in it, because we are using lots of tomatoes, ginger, garlic, coriander powder and the garam masala in this. Of course, this has an influence of Mughlai style cooking when it comes to the richness of gravy, because we are using cashew nuts, butter and cream in this gravy. I will be presenting this curry in a classical style in a curry ball, and there will be another presentation which is inspired from Turkish style. So we will be making a pide bread, which is a classical flat Turkish bread, and we will be serving the Paneer Lababdar in a pide bread. So this can be served as a starter, as a pass around or as a main dish in the dining room. So let's start making the recipe of Paneer Lababdar. For this recipe of Paneer Lababdar, we will be requiring some fresh red tomatoes, paneer, ginger, garlic, onions, cashew nuts, and in the spices I will be using chili powder, dry Kashmiri red chilies, whole garam masala, cinnamon, cardamom and clove, coriander powder and some fenugreek leaf towards the end. So let's start with the first step of the recipe, where we will boil the tomatoes. So I will transfer the tomatoes in the cooking pot. I have cut the tomatoes roughly into 1/4. Along with that, I have added 2 small pieces of green chilies to add some spiciness to the masala. After the tomatoes and green chilies, I will add some Kashmiri dry red chilies. Now this red chilies, I have removed the seeds from them. So they will be giving a flavor and color, but they will not be adding spiciness to the curry. After adding the Kashmiri chilies, I will add broken cashew nuts along with half a teaspoon of salt. Whole spices, I have taken 2 small pieces of cinnamon, 4 pieces of green cardamom and 4 to 5 pieces of clove. Now at this stage I will add water. And we'll cover the pot. We'll continue cooking the tomatoes until they are soft and ready to blend. Paneer Lababdar. In this, the word Lababdar has no dictionary meaning. It mainly represents the richness of the gravy in terms of flavors, textures and the ingredients that we are using to prepare this curry. Also signifies intense desire. The person is completely involved and indulge in enjoying the dish, and there is no exceptions to that. We can see the tomatoes are boiled, they are soft and they are cooked along with cashew nuts and the Kashmiri chilies. At this stage, I will transfer the tomatoes in a mixing bowl. I will rest them for some time until they are ready to blend. Now it's very important when you are boiling the tomatoes, you need to add the spices how much you require for that quantity of tomatoes. There is no point of adding extra spices, and once the tomatoes are boiled, you start removing the spices from that. That will not make any sense, and also trust me, those extra spices will not add any flavor to your curry. Once the tomatoes were at room temperature, I have blended them to a fine puree. And this is the time I will start making the Lababdar gravy in the cooking pot along with some chopped onions and spices. So I will start first by adding 3 tablespoons of oil in the cooking pot. The oil is hot and it's ready. At this stage, I will add chopped onions. And for this recipe of lababdar gravy, I follow a ratio of 1:3. So if I have got 1 kg of onions, I will be using 3 kg of tomatoes. After adding the onions, I will add 1/4 teaspoon of salt and once the onions are soft, I will add 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. After the chopped garlic, I will add chopped ginger, in this recipe I have used chopped ginger and chopped garlic. You could have also used ginger garlic paste for this, but when we are making the curry at home, preparing a ginger garlic paste in a quantity is a waste of resource and time, and when you are using freshly chopped ginger and garlic, they will really stand out in the gravy. At this stage, onions are almost sauteed and they are golden brown in color, and now we will start adding the powdered spices. So I will start first by adding 2 teaspoons of coriander powder and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. After adding the coriander powder and the turmeric powder, I will add the blended tomato puree. After adding the blended tomato puree, I will add some water and will continue cooking the gravy for another 15 minutes. Now if you have seen, after adding the turmeric powder and coriander powder, I have not added the chili powder because I have added the dry Kashmiri chilies while boiling the tomatoes. So if you are not adding the dry Kashmiri chilies while boiling the tomatoes, you could have added chili powder along with the turmeric powder. Lababdar gravy is cooked and it's nice in texture. This is the time we will adjust the seasoning and we will infuse the flavor at this stage so that you can feel the freshness of the spices and the flavors in the gravy. Now for the seasoning, I will add half a teaspoon of salt, followed by I will add honey. After the honey, I will add butter. After the cream, fenugreek leaves. After the fenugreek, half a teaspoon of garam masala. After the garam masala and fenugreek leaves, I will add diced paneer. I will finish the lababdar gravy with some fresh grated paneer and chopped coriander leaves. Now this grated paneer will not only add to the texture of the lababdar gravy, but it also gives a richness and the taste. Now the paneer lababdar gravy is finished. This is the time we will start working with the Turkish bread, and let's give this classical recipe a Turkish feel. To prepare the pide bread, first we will activate the yeast in a mixing bowl. So I will add approximately 1 teaspoon of yeast in the mixing bowl. Along with that, 2 teaspoons of sugar. After the sugar, I will add milk. In the same bowl, I will add some hot water. And we will rest this mixture at least for 15 to 20 minutes. Allow the yeast to get activated. Now in the meantime the yeast is getting activated, I will add half a teaspoon of salt to the white flour, approximately 1 tablespoon of curd. At this stage I will add the activated yeast to the mixing bowl, and now we will slowly start incorporating the flour and we'll make a soft dough. After mixing the flour, I will add half egg. After making the dough for the pide bread, we have to rest it for an hour to 45 minutes so that the dough gets proofed and it's ready for rolling. Now I have rested the dough on the top of the oven deck. Pide, it's a classic Turkish flatbread which is shaped like boat, topped with some local fillings and stuffings, also known as Turkish pizzas. Pide dates back to 1850 when local bakers in a Bafra region near Black Sea started stuffing their breads before baking them. Pide is classically or traditionally baked in brick ovens or clay ovens. Pide represents the tradition and culture of Turkey, where it is mainly served on social gatherings and festive occasions. Breads similar like pide are also seen in Central Asia, Middle East and Europe. The dough is ready, so this is the time we'll start rolling the dough for the bread. So after rolling the bread in an oblong shape, I will start adding the paneer lababdar in the center of the rolled bread. And this is the time we'll start folding the bread from the sides. And we'll press the corners firmly, and now we will transfer the bread on the baking tray. To bake the pide bread, I have preheated the oven at 200 degrees centigrade, and if you have noticed, I have removed the hot baking tray from the oven and then I have transferred the bread on the hot tray. It will help me to make the bread crispy from the bottom. I have baked the pide bread inside the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. After removing the bread from the oven, I will just give a nice glaze of melted butter. Now you can make smaller size pide also that can be served as a pass around or as a starter. So at this stage, I'll cut the pide bread into 4 to 6 pieces. So this is the time we'll start plating the paneer lababdar in Turkish style, which is in the pide bread, and the classical style in the curry ball. Hope you enjoyed watching this recipe of paneer lababdar. We have followed very classical and traditional style of making the lababdar gravy, but we have presented the dish in two different styles. One is the classical version and the second one is inspired from Turkish cuisine, where we have served the paneer lababdar gravy inside the pita bread. These small touches makes a lot of difference in the dining experience. I'm sure you will try these recipes in your kitchen. Looking forward to see you again in our next episode of Gourmet at Home.